Behind the Cape. Children of the Blood and Bone. Got a couple of images here. I think we got Amandla here, Tosin Cole. You got your boy Damson.
Shout out to España. Oh, the Children of the Blood and Bone stuff, huh?
Regina and Chiwetel. Yep.
Chiwetel Ejiofor. Yeah, I don't know. We talked about this on Thursday about our level of anticipation for Blood and Bone. I still wish it the best. You know, the explosive exit for me though is enough for me to have a little bit of concern. You know, I see people still trying to stay down for it, like, oh, this is the type of movie we want to see. Why won't we, support it even still? The track record of these adaptations and what they look like after the kind of the main disciple, whether that be the original creator or whether that be, even in the case of X-Men 97, right? X-Men 97 has been doing exceedingly well for the season and a quarter that it's been on. This week, the episode that came out this week is the first time that there was a bit of a standstill where it was like, all right, what was that? As an episode, like what was that? And so we talked about Rings of Power just a second ago. Season 2 of House of the Dragon is where they kind of started to separate between George and Ryan Condal. There are times where you may feel like you can move beyond the original creator in terms of how much are we leaning on the original source. I don't think the first episode, the first iteration that you see on the big screen is that. If this was the second or third movie and Tomi had this falling out with Amandla in the production and all that and decided not to support it, okay, at that point we already invested. At that point, we already know that we're on a train that everybody agreed with. We're on a pathway that everybody was on board with. If she come out before the first fucking premiere and is like, yeah, nah, I won't ever see this movie.
She came out before we had really any information.
You know what I mean? Like, damn, it's kind of hard for me to get excited for. Doesn't mean I won't see it at all. No, I'll probably still see it. It just means my level of anticipation is down a little bit.
Can I be honest? This scene right here, specifically from the first look, and well, actually, no, pretty much all of them. This one, they're kind of looking pretty Black Pantherish. It almost seems as if, to me, that might be the issue, is that they're trying to make this thing a little too close to what we've seen in Black Panther because they know Black Panther was a success. Thoughts on that?
Maybe. It could be. We're looking at pictures right now. So for me to say that it's copying Black Panther, you would
definitely not saying copying, but it at least gives a vibe that leans that way.
For me to say that, I would need to hear the score. I would need to see some of the movements. I need to see the setting in motion. Like I need to see more than just still pictures. And that also is part of it as well, right? How soon do you show footage? And so you look at something like let's look at something like Disclosure Day. Now, Disclosure Day, regardless of how it ended up doing in the theater, you got footage, you got some sort of something to chew on for Disclosure Day relatively early. Spider-Man is the same way. Like we were chewing on Spider-Man footage months ago. Right? Like when people are confident about what they're about to show you, they don't waste time showing it to you. And I feel like Children of the Blood and Bone has been very guarded in what they've shown for me.
Yeah.
Like we're We're in July. I think this comes out in January. So we still got a few months
A
before
little
they
bit of time.
absolutely have to show you something.
But it's
But
coming
at
up.
the same token, we've made it, we getting ready to go through CinemaCon, or not CinemaCon. We've already gone through CinemaCon. We're getting ready to go through San Diego Comic-Con, and it doesn't feel like we're gearing up to get anything. Now, I could be wrong. They could blow their socks off. They could show you something. A trailer could release that weekend and totally flip the feeling around it. Right now, there's a lot up in the air, and the person who created all of this is saying that it's not something that she can support. So that feels like until you do something different, until you kind of change the narrative on that kind of feels like where we're at. It's kind of like stuck in stasis.
If they was some real niggas, they would have shown a trailer at DreamCon.
Oh yeah, I mean that would have been a thing, right?
Real niggas.
You go to DreamCon and you show out. That would be a choice. However, that no such thing happened. No such thing happened.
Facts. She did a good job with the Woman King.
Good job with the Woman King. Okay, yeah. Hope the studios didn't water down. But see, and that was some of the. If you remember MoFly or Johnny Dogsworth, whatever we're going with today. If you remember, that was some of the criticism of Woman King, is how they watered down the historical accuracy of what was going on about that tribe, right? It kind of made them the heroes in a story where they were anti-heroes at best, even if you're looking at the most favorable telling of that history, right? And so this does give them a little bit of buffer with Gina Blythewood, because this isn't a historical telling that we're going on. This is totally fantasy that we're dealing with. So you can go ahead and you could MoFly. All right, for sure. Whatever we're taking from this is going to be original, right? It's not necessarily it's not a storytelling that has to be tied to history. At the same time, if the person who originally told the story is like, yeah, no, I'm gonna sit this one out, that does do something for it does something for the hype. It does.
I guess so. D-Steezel earlier said that some of these picks look like Timu Wakanda, and I wouldn't go that far necessarily, but I would say if we're blaming some of this on maybe on the studio as well, you don't think that the studio wants to see something similar to Black Panther and be like, hey, well, we're going to push it to look like this, and we're going to make some decisions that the author probably doesn't agree with because her shit is not Black Panther, and so therefore that could be some of the discrepancy here.
Yeah, because we haven't gotten any particulars beyond she don't like Amandla Stenberg. You can't really hammer it down on what it exactly is. So could it be
Amandla Stenberg is like, I want my check from the studio. And I'm gonna do whatever they say.
But with your discourse, yeah, I don't think Tomi was fucking with your discourse, Amandla. I don't think she was too fond of it, whatever it may be. So, we'll sit back and watch it and see how the next couple of months go with marketing, and see if, it builds. We'll see if they can muster up some hype for this thing. But right now, it's not looking too favorable. I'll say that.
Let's talk about Coogler. I think I got it. There we go. Cool. New details on Ryan Coogler's X-Files pilot. Sorry. Shot on 65mm film. It's 2 hours long. He thinks he might as well just go ahead and make this a film as opposed to.
I don't know who this nigga fooling. I don't know who he fooling. I don't know if he just he didn't have the budget for a film at first. So you shot it in 65mm. That's pretty close to IMAX. Right? Like you only 5mm off from IMAX. And then you shot a 2 hour pilot?
Yep.
What kind of fucking show is this going to be? You shot a 2 hour pilot? You wanted this to be a film. I don't know why he didn't just pitch it as a film to begin with. There was probably something going on behind the scenes.
I do think he still wants it to be a series because apparently I don't know how this keeps coming up. His mom is a huge fan, and I think he wanted to do this because of that.
Well, but that don't
So I
mean
think
he
he
wouldn't
does.
make an X-Files movie. There are X-Files movies.
He might want to bring in the series with a movie potentially.
I think this man always intended for this shit to be shot as a film. You shot it in 65 millimeter and it's 2 hours long.
That's the
I
part.
think you wanted
That's the
it to be a
part.
film. Like,
I don't know that
to
the
be a
2
film.
hours part is, but yes, you shot it in 65 millimeters.
You shot it. Fam, you wanted this shit to be a film. Maybe they weren't trying to pick it up as a film. Maybe they were like, all right, we'll pick it up, but we only gonna pick it up as a short series. And he was like, okay, I got you. And so he shot it like a film, and you're gonna take it back to him and be like, okay, can you see the money now? Can you see the green? And once they can see the green, then it turns into a movie.
Nova movie is in the works for Marvel.
This is hilarious.
By the way, all that shit you was talking about, Michael Waldron.
Hey, that's why it's hilarious. I was talking big cash of Michael Waldron, like, hey, you don't get to suggest who the fuck Nova is. Shut your ass up and sit in the back.
I saw that clip and I was like, damn, wait a minute. That's crazy.
Michael Waldron will be doing the Nova movie. All right, so I guess cue up Glenn Powell as Richard Rider, because here we go.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, no, I'll eat the crow for sure. I honestly didn't think that, at that point in time, Michael Waldron was being considered for a Nova series, let alone a Nova movie. So, shout out to him. We'll see how it goes. I'm definitely excited for it. It's a concept that I wanted to see on the big screen. But yeah, casting is going to be a big thing here for sure. Mm-hmm. Where do we go? I think you do need to start with Richard Rider, though. The interesting part about this is the storytelling aspect that you can come up through, right? Knowing that we've already been on Nova's home planet. It's been destroyed. It plays a key part in the Infinity Saga. You can kind of reverse engineer that storytelling if that's the way that they choose to go. I hope it is, right? Because there are still so many gaps in the Infinity Saga for storytelling that they just seem totally disinterested in handling with any of these fucking characters. Any of them. Outside of WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier and a little bit of Loki. There are so many gaps in the storytelling here of what happened in the 5 years, even the aftermath of the blip, the coming back, the reasserting of all these people back into there's so many opportunities for storytelling. This one in particular being that Nova Prime was destroyed for the Power Stone. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. For the Power Stone, you could do a lot with Richard Rider here. You can get a fucking Thanos appearance. We can get Thanos in this movie.
Yeah.
Who knows? Lot that you could do.
Nova, a D-list character nobody cares about.
Man, stop. Nova is not D-list. Maybe B- C. He for sure ain't D. And his power.
Is he not on the same level as Wonder Man?
Fuck no. Okay, maybe that's personal bias. I don't think so. I think more people know Nova than fucking Simon Williams.
I'm not a comic reader, so I guess I can't say for sure.
I'll tell you this. When they start casting for Nova, there will be no black names. There will not be a single black name.
Well, there shouldn't have been one for Simon, so...
But I'm telling you, they could get that shit off with Simon Williams because don't nobody know who the fuck Simon Williams is.
I see what you're saying. I got you.
Okay. Nova, at least from the suit or the association to Spider-Man, was something people, oh, wait, hold on. I know who that guy is a little bit. You could put Simon Williams in the full getup and it could be a white guy and people would still be like, I don't know who the fuck that is. No, ain't no F-list character. You hating on Nova right now. You hating on him.
That's funny. I don't watch streaming, but I'm sick of seeing that Rakai kid on my algorithm. Kai put him and Ray on. They be doing too much. Leave Rakai alone. He's a kid. He's literally a kid.
How he ain't make Streamer U? We should have been on Streamer U.
Should we have? Would you have gone?
Yeah, we should have been on there. I had a whole idea I could have played out. I was going to be Van Wilder. I was going to have a red button-up shirt with a black suit on. We was gonna walk around. But then when people start talking to us, we was gonna talk some real shit. We was gonna say some real shit when they actually pulled the cameras out. But we was gonna play around like we was just the old dudes on campus.
That's crazy. I do have
maybe
Taj is crazy.
You was gonna be Taj.
That's crazy. I do have a moment from Streamer University that I'm going to discuss. It's just one, and it's not a big one, but we don't talk about it.
See, the young boys know Polo. Tell them about Nova. Tell them. General audience doesn't know Nova, bro. You reaching? Man, more than Simon Williams. There's a whole children's. You see, you're talking about the animated cartoon. Plus, the youngins know Nova from the little Spider-Man cartoon that goes on Disney Junior all the time. Can't think of the name at the moment. But I think there's a little bit more Nova seeds out there than what y'all leading on.
He's one of the coolest cosmic Earthbound characters, especially from his New Warriors days.
Right? Like, I know I'm not tripping on the Nova side. Like, he's not Captain America. He's not Wolverine. Like, he doesn't have that type of name recognition. But like, you get into like some of the surface level comic book fans, they still know Nova. You get into your casual MCU fans, maybe they don't know the name, but if you show them a picture of Nova, they be like, oh yeah, I know that dude from somewhere. I've seen him in a comic somewhere or a TV show, a cartoon somewhere.
Kratos being recast.
Yeah, man, poor Ryan Hurst. Yeah, man, this was never going to work. I was trying to hold on for it and you know, really get behind it because I like the actor. Obviously, I'm a fan of the franchise, and you know, you want to see it work. You know what I mean? But it just didn't. It never really felt right for me. Number one, I hated the fact that they were starting out in the Nora saga. Hated it. Like it feels completely out of place, out of order. It would have been like starting the Avatar Airbender series with them off in Ba Sing Se. It just don't make a lick of sense. But they're saying that he had like an injury and they don't want to wait for him. That's some bullshit. This shit looks terrible and people are dogging it and they don't want to sign themselves up for another Halo or another Rings of Power. So they like, look, we ain't doing this. We got to recast. So maybe, hopefully, some other things change about the production while they're trying to find another Kratos. I just didn't ever really see this one working out. Look at that shit. Look at that, man. Ryan, you don't deserve this. You don't deserve this.
He looks like Triple H.
Bertier, you don't.
I'm saying,
my nigga Bertier, my wigga Bertier does not deserve this. You don't deserve this. This looks crazy. Look at the shoulder strap, bro. Look at the shoulder armor. What is that? We need to rethink it. We need to first of all call Christopher Priest and see if he's willing before we call anybody else.
Yes.
And then number two, go back to costume design. Give them a quick one, a stiff one, right? Don't go all the way. Don't follow through, but a quick one right here to the jaw just to wake them up, and then have them go back to the drawing board because I didn't like any of this. It looks crazy.
I mean, you kind of like the casting when you first heard it.
I did because I like the actor.
Yeah.
And then I got the first look. I got this shit. And I was like, nah.
Yeah.
Nah, we not rocking with this.